answers, not. In my school, there are just children. So, young boys and girls, so. Okay, I think we can start. Today, most of the meeting will be in English. And thank you very much for all the good practices that you have sent. There were so many that I've spent 2 hours to try to select a couple of them for today. And we are very happy that we are also numerous online. And I'm very happy that we are learning. We talk about digital world, but we are also experiencing digital world during the course and between a meeting to another, because we shared many experiences. So I think this is very important. Today we are going to talk about social media and justice and peace mission. We have 2 wonderful people. One is close to me and one is online from Spain, no, from Barcelona, I'm sorry. So from Spain, but Barcelona, and Alba. So they will tell us more about social media. But I want to say just one thing about that. I would like to destroy, let's say, 2 prejudices that we have for social media. First, social media do not correspond to with digital culture, digital world. Digital world is much wider and bigger than social media. So this is the first prejudice. The second is that social networks are not something new. Actually, we move in the digital world what my grandmother and yours did outside the home door. So it's just to share, to connect people. Human beings are networks, actually. We are living social media. So I think we can start, as usual, we start with a prayer or a moment of reflection. And this time, I selected something from Querida Amazonia. That is the apostolic exhortation of Pope Francis after the Synod on Amazon. I selected some paragraphs so you can read by yourself. It's in English and in Spanish. You can read quietly, and then at the end there are some questions to help your personal reflection. The culture mentioned in the first quotation from Querida Amazonia has to do also with the digital culture. So we have to learn how to live our faith in this world. And this beautiful quotation from the gospel: go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation. We are very facilitating for this mission thanks to the digital world. But it's not enough to be online. We have to learn how to nurture an ecological communication. Some questions for your personal reflection. If you want to share something in the chat, you are most welcome. How does the information and communication technology facilitate this global mission? What prevents me from investing more in digital mission? Thank you for the comments. I see the Spanish room is always more active. This might depend on our culture. So, Teresa, I think there is someone sharing his screen, so I think we have to, please do not share your screen, because otherwise we'll see, we can't read because it's difficult. But okay. Thank you, Therese. Now we continue with the agenda of today. We have social media and justice and peace mission with Father Amado Picardal. He's the co-secretary of the UISG and USG Justice and Peace Commission. He's the Sister Sheila partner. They work together. You know Sister Sheila, she welcomed the course at the very first meeting, but we will meet her again along the course, specifically in the 5th meeting on nonviolent communication. And then we have Alba Sabate. I cannot read the rest of the name. I'm sorry, Alba. You will tell us. She's a journalist and professor. She will tell us about her. And then we have a very short time about good practices, sharing what you have sent it to me. And tasks for March 12 with the new theme. And then we have 8 tips. Okay? So I think we can start. Of course, we will have a session on question and answer after our speakers. So I think now we can start giving the floor to Father Amado. No, sorry, I can help you. Presentation is here. Here we go.
Good day to all. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Everything is interconnected. That's what Pope Francis said in Laudato Si, number 240. The fact that you are watching and listening to me, not within this room, but from all over the world, is really a proof for that. Pope Francis says that peace, justice, and the preservation of creation are three absolutely interconnected themes. Everything is interrelated, and we human beings are united as brothers and sisters on a wonderful pilgrimage. We live in an interconnected world. It is a world of instant information and communication. We can connect with others no matter where they are, no matter where we are. We can share our experiences, thoughts, and feelings with each other instantly, anywhere in the world. Looks like magic. We can operate beyond the confines and boundaries of our homes, offices, villages, cities, and countries. There are no more boundaries. What is personal can become universal. What is local can be global. A small act or thought can go viral. A small voice can be magnified. One person can make a difference. I'm sure you know who that person is, or at least most of you. That's Greta. She was just what, 12, 13? When she refused to go to school because she was concerned, she was afraid about the future. A future where she wouldn't survive. All by herself. What happened later? School children from all over the world on one day did the same thing. And she even found herself in a gathering of government representatives from all over the world to address that. And she is now actually being considered for the Nobel Peace Prize. What can influence? We can influence the minds and hearts of people. even if we do not have face-to-face contact with them. We can create networks, virtual communities, and movements, a web of relationship with our fingertips. This is made possible through the internet and the social media. And this is what the Pontifical Council for Social Communication said about the church and about the internet. It has a remarkable capacity to overcome distance and isolation, bringing people into contact with like-minded persons of goodwill who join in virtual communities of faith to encourage and support one another. We are now living in a digital age. We can work and operate in cyberspace. And the office is not the only place to work in. You can work in a coffee shop or even here. As I say, the time will come, and it is coming when the office will become obsolete. People probably go to the office just to meet face to face once in a while, but most of our work can be done everywhere. And we can even bring our office here. This is our office. Everything is here. Online meetings, conferences, and even webinars, as what we are doing now. We can do that. And you don't even have to be facing your laptop or your desktop. Even with your cell phones, smartphones, you can engage in conferences and webinars. We are constantly online through a smartphone, which has become the instant means of communication and source of information. Can you imagine? There are 3.5 billion people in the planet carrying with their smartphone. You know, yesterday I was riding the metro and was looking around, and everybody was looking at their smartphone. How many social media users are there? In 2010, there were 970 million people on social media. 2015, 2.14 billion. 2019, last year, 2.82 billion. And can you guess what will happen soon? 2020, 2.96 billion people on social media. And 2021, 3.9 billion. Let's look at the statistics of the popular social networks as of October 2019. Instagram, 1 billion. WeChat, 1.13 billion. Messenger, 1.3 billion. WhatsApp, 1.6 billion. YouTube, 2 billion. Facebook, 2.49 billion users. That's 1/3 of the population of the planet. And of that, 1.7 billion connected through smartphones. You don't even have to have a laptop or a desktop. Just through this, we are connected to Facebook. Well, the question is, if many are already in social media, especially Facebook, why are there still a lot of people not in social media? And this is the answer. I don't know what that is. Too busy is a waste of time. It's useless. I want to keep my privacy. I don't want others to know about me or what I am doing. I'm afraid of the big brother. Big brother is watching. I have nothing to say, show, or share with others. My life is just boring. Or I don't know how to use it. These are some of the answers why. A lot, not a lot actually, is on social media, but soon they will have to be. Let us remember that most of the young generation, most of young people are on social media. If you want to reach out to them, you have to be there. But it's not only the elite and young people. You know, this woman is a friend, not just on social media, but she has been my friend since 2008. She is a vegetable vendor, 65-year-old vegetable vendor selling vegetables in the market. Of course, she became a friend because I had to bury her fourth son. The funeral because 4 of his sons were killed by the death squad. And we continue to keep in touch through the social media. Of course, 65-year-old Redemptorist priest is also on social media. That's me. Yeah. Of course, there's an 85-year-old priest in Ireland. So, priests and religious are now on social media, and there's no age limit. You think 65 years old is a big deal? What about this 85-year-old still on social media? Of course, there's a nun in Ukraine, Sister Irina, on social media. Well, this one is a bishop, my friend, the bishop of Kidapawan. I didn't know he was in Rome until he posted on a picture that he was in Rome. And he was just nearby eating in a restaurant. I just 3 minutes walk. That's how we met. Of course, we were biking buddies. He usually posts besides his homilies, the biking adventures. What about the contemplatives? Poor Clares. Look at their members, young people. How did they get their vocations? Through social media. If you're wondering about contemplative orders having new members, many of them started their contact in social media. Of course, you also have the Franciscans, or JPIC, they have their own social media. Yes, the Cardinal. That's why that his homilies, his talks are posted on Facebook. Well, Pope Francis is not on Facebook, but he is on Twitter. Of course, there's a team that manages that. So if you want to know, what he's saying, it's posted on Twitter. So why are people attracted to social media? Because we connect with friends and the world around you on Facebook. We can connect with our family, friends, colleagues, even old classmates that we haven't met for a long time, wherever we are. If I want to know what my sister is doing, or what about her grandchildren are doing, I can just look her up on media. They post their pictures, what they're doing, what they're eating. We can also win friends and influence people through social media. So what is it for? It's a way of updating family, friends, and others about our life and to tell our stories. Of course, many would just post the big picture, that is what they're eating. But actually, you look at them, they're in Los Angeles. These are my cousins, and their children, and at least I'm so happy they're happy. It's a way of updating, telling people not just what we have for breakfast, but where we are, how we are. Even our exotic vacation. Of course, the most popular use of Facebook is posting selfies. Now, selfie, Why do we post selfie? It's not just about me, about us. It's about where we are and who we are with. It continues to tell our story. We can share our adventures and life drama. And it's like a serial, where we are now, what is happening to our life. Our adventure, wait a minute, I need to post this in my picture, So, sometimes you don't even be aware of the danger around you, but, it's what is. Well, of course, warning, this can be addictive. Actually, some have already listed selfie, as an addiction. And there are some people that you look at their Facebook account, every 5 minutes there's a new, you get a selfie, So, that's a warning. This can be addictive. You have a selfie addiction if all we post are our selfies. But besides that, it's where we get the latest news about what's happening. We don't even have to buy newspapers or watch TV. When you open your cell phone, immediately you know what is trending. The coronavirus. Others post pictures and videos and stories of calamities. What they have gone through, or the response to victims and survivors. So this is, posted. Far away from home, I learned that there was a volcano erupting in my country. And I see my conference, Redemptor is taking care of the victims. How can you feed 2,000 people every day? Of course, because it was on social media and volunteers came, chefs from restaurants, and people bringing food and supplies. In social media, compared to mass media, we can all become citizen journalists. We can report on the ground what is happening even before the TV and the newspapers have reported them. The social media is also a way of promoting advocacies and causes that can help transform our society and the world. Many of the protests now are actually being mobilized through social media. The faster means of information and communication that could bypass even state-controlled media. The state can control the press, but it's very difficult for them to control social media. And this is where all the information is actually being coursed through. It makes people aware of a specific issue or situation and mobilizing them even without a central command. There are actually instances when social media fueled a revolution. The Libyan revolution of 2011 that brought down Gaddafi and that actually pressured a humanitarian intervention from the US. The Arab Spring that brought down an authoritarian leader. Yemen, Syrian, Egyptian, Tunisian, these were all fueled the protest in the streets by social media, in spite of a controlled mass media or press. During the Arab Spring, more than 3 million tweets on Twitter, hundreds of hours of YouTube video, and countless posts on Facebook and blogs told stories of the revolution from citizens who needed to get their voices heard. The Ukrainian Revolution in 2014, again, this was a social media revolution. Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, there was no central command. It was just every movement. It was through social media. Of course, besides revolution, the social media can be used to win elections and to maintain power. And this is, actually what happened in our country. It was an experiment of Facebook using the analytics. How do you craft the message? What is the image of your candidate that will appeal to people? They're using the data, and they're using also social media for that. And of course, the troll farms. Trolls, influencing minds and hearts, conducting cyber warfare. These are the dark side of social media. We cannot ignore the digital world or social media unless we want to live under the grid and strictly keep our privacy and live in isolation. This is not just the wave of the future. This is the reality that we now find ourselves in. So the question is, how can we operate in cyberspace and make use of social media in our mission or ministry? How can we promote justice, peace, and integrity of creation through social media? Because let me first answer by first sharing my own experience. Tell my story a bit. Don't worry, it's going to be not long. I first became aware of social media at the turn of the millennium. I was a member of the what you call the Yahoo groups, discussion forum among peace advocates. And as part of this e-group of peace advocates, we were able to mobilize peace caravans and rallies in just a so short of time. It was the heart of the total war in Mindanao. And we just organized a caravan, 60 buses composed of Muslims and Christians going through the no man's land in order to stop the fighting and to pressure the government and the Moro-Israel front to continue the peace negotiations. And subsequently, many of our prayer rallies were organized through this. Well, I also became a member of the Pinoy mountain biker community. It's actually a forum for bikers. And I also became a member of the running, discussion group. And I started my own blog. I decided at that time to bike for life and peace all by myself. But because of my contact with the forum and because of this blog, and then I posted it in social media and Facebook, I was able to get a following. Bikers from all walks, from all over the country joined me for a while. And even I posted it on Facebook, and it was picked up by the mass media. Praised all the Bike for Peace campaign. I was alone, but from time to time there are bikers who join me. All because of social media connected to mass media. I also did this when I ran and walked across the Philippines for 2 months. Every day I posted on my blog and on the social media where I was and what I was doing. I was all by myself. I was preaching in churches, but then it was covered. Many people were following it. I was posting pictures, and it was covered by mass media. And even the newspapers, so the priest completes the Davao Apare hike. This is a 2,000-kilometer hike. And it's a way of drawing to my advocacy of peace and against the killings and against mining, all of those. I also used social media in my human rights advocacy, especially to expose and oppose the violation of human rights, extrajudicial killings. And this one, I posted in my blog about the victims of the death squad, the report. And I was surprised that over 700,000 people read my blog post, which was linked to Facebook. It was picked up by the mass media. This became part of newspaper and TV reports, the local, national, international news, including Reuters, Al Jazeera, CNN, the Australian Broadcasting Network, and I've been interviewed many times. And two recently published books on human rights situation in the Philippines have made use of my blog and my FB post. And my collected report on the extrajudicial killings have been included in the submission to the International Criminal Court. That's why that it also appeared in mass media. And the CNN. And even, well, there was an attempt to assassinate me which I posted in social media, I got national and international coverage. Even the La Stampa and even the Vatican News and other newspapers. My superior, I decided to live a life of a hermit and an exile. This is where I was. I was all alone, living a life of silence and solitude, a hidden life as a hermit. Yet, I continue my poetic ministry. Oh, thanks to social media, thanks to the internet. I could maintain contact with family, friends, and converse. I got the latest news and updates, wrote articles and books. I shared my homilies and even gave interviews. I continue my dialogue with human rights activists, again because of social media. So we can promote JPIC through social media wherever we are. The question is, how do we go about it? First, we must create a social media account if you do not have it. There is actually, if you, you can actually just go to the internet. You have to, how do I create a Facebook account? Sister Sheila said that I should not presume that many of you that you already have a social media account, but all you need to do is click. Okay, Google and you also say how to open a Facebook account, and you just press, and there it is. All you need to do is point there and then you click. Oops.
It's my personal.
It's your personal.
Don't close it because I have the stuff open.
Okay.
For later. Sorry.
So sign up for the Facebook. Oops. Anyway, all you need to do is just to follow the instruction. Let's go back to where we were.
Minimize this one because I need it for later. Minimize it.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think yeah. You can also go to YouTube and you just type open Facebook account and you just click. Just follow the step, because we don't have much time. I think we will just skip with a step-by-step here. But you go there and this one? Okay. Well, the best one is to ask someone, especially young people, to teach you how to sign up for a social media account and how to use it. So you can open 2 or more accounts if you wish to separate the various dimensions of your life: personal, social, professional, advocacies, hobbies. But make sure you have an email address or smartphone number because you'll be asked. Based on your existing email and phone contacts, Facebook will suggest who to add as friends. Family, friends, acquaintances, converse. Later on, you can add others with whom you can network and collaborate in JPIC advocacy. And this is very important. The clergy, religious, bishops, lay people, even journalists. And I think that's, I have 3,000 in my first account friends. Many of them I haven't met face to face, but I even have bishops, cardinals. I have a visible vendor. You have religious. You will also receive friend requests, which you may either accept, you click confirm, or reject. But beware of trolls. Expand your circle of virtual friends and followers. This is very, very important. You can also open a Facebook that functions as a website or blog site. GP News updates related to your DPIC advocacy, articles, or link to articles in their websites. These are some. You can also open a Facebook. Okay, main. Do you have little time? Okay, how many minutes do I have?
It's over already.
Okay, okay, so what can be posted in social media? Any content created by you or others related to JPIC. It can be a combination of text, accompanied by pictures, or short videos that show the real first, that will show the reality or situation that you are concerned with and you want others to be aware of. The C. Provide reflections, moral judgment based on the church teaching, the judge, and show what is being done or should be done. So see the situation related to an issue, the injustice, violence, ecological destruction, the climate change. Avoid this, that's all about you. Post what is actually happening on the ground. You point of view that of those affected, you share stories, post reports and analysis that show the big picture and the long-term effects. Number two, the judge analysis, reflections on the situation from a moral theological perspective. If you have an article to share, make sure it is short. If it's a long article, give a brief summary and provide the links. Act. What is being done and should be done as a response. Share stories, what they're doing related to DPIC issues, what others are doing, and best practices that they can replicate. Invite them to join and participate. You know, these are the three special effects. It's important that we tell stories. That's why this is what Pope Francis was saying, to emphasize telling of stories. It's important to post images, posting videos. Okay, I don't have much time now. I'll just this is what Pope Francis is saying. The internet offers immense possibilities for encounter and solidarity. And it's something truly good, a gift from God. Okay.
Thank you, Father. Thank you very much. You ran too much at the very end. I think they were a little bit lost, so we can recuperate something. Thank you very much. I want to highlight, he's an example of a normal person who doesn't have huge resources to have a very clear communication plan. Did you see when he was mentioning, I published something on the on the blog, and then on my Facebook profile, and then the press took it to have the news. It happens, it happens. Journalists visit our social media profiles, our institutional profile. While you prepare your questions before we give the floor to Alba, I want to highlight that it was published, the Digital Report 2020. It's very interesting. Perhaps most of the data that he shared with us was taken from there. Is the panorama, the overview of the social media in the world. So you can know, you can see in your country what are the social media where people are most. The other element I want to highlight is that most of the people, this is the statistics, most of the people on Facebook, for instance, shared others' content more than create my own content. So now I have a question for us as religious people and justice and peace missionaries. We have to learn how to create our content. I was reading comments after the prayer and during Father Amado talk, and I see that there is like, if I want to be online and I want to be efficient, I do not have resources. There are congregations who have a communication officer. Perhaps we do not have. I want to animate you that we can learn to do a few things, but doing well. A few things. His experience was really, it might be a model, very few things. So I don't want you to feel, you know, that because you don't have a person. In the ideal world, it's good to have a person to be in charge for communication. And we are in charge for the justice and peer promotion. But if we are not, we can find other solutions or doing small things. After the prayer, you comments that what prevents you from investing more in this field? Lack of knowledge, lack of time, lack of formation, lack of technology resources, lack of economical resources. Sometimes lack of creativity, lack of enough creativity to make something interesting for others. Fears and prejudices. I understand all these obstacles, but I want to suggest you to select 2 or 3 obstacles and try to transform it in goals. So you can you can plan some solutions to overcome the obstacles. Many questions and comments are arriving. So I don't, Therese, if you can prepare Alba for her reflection, we can try to read something. We will send you, as we have done for the first meeting, we will send you the presentation and we will send you also the recording file, okay? But the presentation is just in English. Let's see, let's take a couple of questions. Yes, to have the access to the social media, you can do what he just suggested. Go on Google and you can try Digital Report 2020 and you can find it, if I understood well the questions. Let's see in Spanish. Okay, here there are questions. I will tell in Espanol. But I would like Alba to answer this question. ¿Qué es mejor contenido propios o compartir con...
It is better to have our own content or to share the contents with others. It is better to have our own contents or to share the contents with others.
Actually, both of them. ¿Cómo vincular las distintas redes?
How to link the different networks, to publish the same or to make difference?
Well, I think that all these questions can be answered by Alba, and then in case we can go back to Father Amado. Alba, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
In the meantime,
yeah.
I can introduce her.
Okay.
Alba, I can see her. Alba, she's a young woman. She's preparing her doctorate. Here she is, but we don't see her face, but it doesn't matter at the moment. In a way. Anyway, she's a journalist. She's a teacher on global communication management in the communication faculty of international relation in Blanquerna. It's university, it's one of the universities in Barcelona. And she's working on her thesis, doctoral thesis on digital journalism. So, Alba, we invite you not only because you are young, but because you are an expert. So, welcome and thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Patricia. Thank you very much, all of you who are here today, especially thank you, Father Amado, for your previous presentation. It was really, really interesting, your model, your case, and what you have said, I think, is really aligned with a lot of messages that I have for you today. Of course, I'm preparing, my PhD on digital communication. I think I can share with you several situations, advice, but I think I'm not an expert. I think all of us can become kind of experts in this social media world, because at the end it's a matter of sharing. And well, I would like to start presenting you a friend of mine here. He's called Gerard. He's from my village here near from Barcelona, and he has been ordered as a priest recently, like months ago. And he's kind of worried because in his parish, not a lot of young people, as sometimes happens in other places. Here in Barcelona, not a lot of young people is going to his parish. Next to my friend is Ariana Grande. She's a singer, a very well-known singer among youth. She's very famous online, offline, and maybe you remember, like 2 years ago, there was a kind of an unfortunate incident, a terrorist attack in Manchester in a concert. Plenty of teenagers. It was a concert of this singer, and since that moment, Ariana Grande is asking young people in the world to love the other. Remember to love the other, the importance of one love the other, and peace. Well, my question here is why Ariana Grande is filling arenas and arenas of young people with a message that at the end is very similar to what my friend Gerard has in his parish. At the end, love the other, peace, the big message. And then I go to social media. And I can see that Ariana Grande has millions and millions of followers in Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then I asked my friend, are you in social media? No, he's not in social media. So maybe he's looking for a group of people in a place where they are not. And this is what is my presentation about. I think that in previous weeks you have talked about influencers. This is only a small piece of the things we are going to comment today. But just for do an overview of our situation nowadays. As you know, in this massive communications era, as Father Amado has also described, we are interconnected. We can be anywhere at any moment. We are receiving a lot of different information from different media at the same time. So we have information until saturation from many different points of views, and all is in the same place. So the big challenge is also how to distinguish what is rigorous and what is not, and the problem of fake news and what has also been connected here. We being here can be receiving a WhatsApp, can be receiving a new notification from the newspaper we read, can be receiving an email, and can receive hundreds of them. So the big question, how to stand out among this big mass of information. And I have an answer here, and it's an answer integrated by 5 questions. Maybe you may know I'm a journalist, and journalist, our main structure for writing a piece is to answer these 5 questions. What happens, when, who, why, and where. And these 5 double V's is what we call in journalism, the 5 double V's. I think that could be a good answer for us to know how to stand out in this social media world, and how to be distinguished and how to be listened. The first question is what? and it's really aligned with the reflection that Patricia did at the beginning of this webinar this afternoon. Patricia said, this is something that is not new. This is something that comes from the times of our grandparents, and I completely agree with her. Social media is a conversation, is a dialogue. Social media is a service and is something based on sharing, on producing information, receiving information, and on sharing, contributing with a good will, and especially in all your cases, to the common good, to the peace of the world. So this is a very idealistic goal, and I know, but at the end, this is a conversation that it's happening continuously. It does not stop. It's happening online, and we'll talk about this. It's happening because of several reasons. And we'll talk about this last question, the who, because it's about the target, and the young target will be the focus of our talk. So this is a conversation. And in social media conversation, as a short advice, my conclusion is that you should do what you do in a face-to-face conversation. So first of all, know who you are. Are you an individual? Are you representing yourself in this conversation, or are you representing an institution? It's very different. Then, if you know if you are representing yourself or an institution, you also can decide what you're talking about, whatever, because your online activity at the end is aligned with your offline activity, because you are the same people, you are the same person. So what you do offline will be translated and will happen in another place, which is online. So sometimes problems and challenges happen when some people try to become something online that is not offline, and this lack of coherence could have some kind of consequences. The basic thing is to listen to the other. You can talk a lot, but if you don't listen, this is not a dialogue, this is not a conversation. So you have to listen to the other to keep the conversation coherent. Look at the other. And when I tell look at the other, not only to listen to her or him, of course, but also to do what this other, and I'm referring here to other profiles, other institutions that are similar to you, what are they doing that could work in your case? Stalk what they are doing. I don't know if you know this verb, stalk. Stalking means to look at what other people in social media is doing. Look at their Facebook, look at their Twitter, look at their Instagram. So for example, the case of Father Amado is a good case to stalk. So look at what people who is doing it well, what are they doing? And share your content, share, and share. This is not only a place where to tell what you are doing. Also share what others are doing. And here I think I'm trying to answer also that question that appeared before. What is better, to have our own content or to share others' contents? I completely agree with Patricia, both of them. Of course, it's a balance. For me, is something that is like, again, in the offline world. It's a balance. You can show your work, you can act, you can tell what you are doing, but it's very important that you show you are not individualistic, you are also aware of what others are doing, and also you can help them to share and promote their actions. So this is a social service. This is a conversation, this is sharing, and this is a social service to the other. When? The second question we had here. Always. Social media conversation, as you know, never stops. Never stops on the one hand because it's global. And as now we are talking, and here in Barcelona is the afternoon, and in other places in the world you are in the morning, and in other places in the world you are at night. This is a continuous conversation. So you have to have clear that if you are participating in this conversation, when is the better moment to start contributing, to not, to say what to say, to know the issues that are better better to say in some moments and not in others. For example, in that sense, I would like to highlight how important it is if you are managing, for example, your individual or your institutional social media profiles, to be aware of news, of course, of different kinds of ephemerides and of different kinds of international days, because it's not the same to launch a message today that another day that is important related to an issue. For example, if this week, especially in Italy, China, or Spain, I launch a message, for example, asking people for help or for information about coronavirus, which nowadays is in all media because of this big worry on what is happening with this illness in the world, I will receive a lot of messages. I will receive a lot of interactions because now is the moment, is in the news, is in the media. Maybe in 2 months, if I launch this message, I would not have as many as comments or answers as today. So also to measure the context, how to fit what you want to do with your context. For example, imagine you have a campaign. You want to spread this campaign about peace and justice, and then you take the opportunity of an international day or a celebration related to your cause. The global eye, people will be more aware that day of that cause than another day because the celebration is already there. So take the context also into account. And at what time? It depends. And also Father Amado did this question. It depends on your community and it depends on the monitoring of the messages that you will do. But we'll see it a little bit later. We're online, and I insist here is a big debate, but I think that the online platform is not an instrument, is a space, is a new space. So the advice is not to consider it only as a place where to put another place where to promote things and activities, but a place to talk, to dialogue, what we've been talking now, a place to share. So not an instrument, but a space. There are plenty, as you know, and all of you that are connected in social media, there are plenty of social media platforms. But as you know, the most well-known by number of also of participants are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Here's some advice, and you'll have the presentation. This conversation is not a quantitative thing. It's more qualitative than quantitative. In what sense? Don't get obsessed in having hundreds and hundreds and thousands of followers. Maybe with less followers, you can have a stronger community. And why? Because in your plan, you should be aware of who your community is, where they are, how many they are, and who do you want to reach to make this community wider. But again, being coherent to your offline situation. So if in the offline world, for example, imagine you have 50 friends, maybe in your online world you can have a little bit more, but not a massive quantity of number, massive quantity more, because it's not coherent. So these both walls should be always aligned. And then test and test and test, because the general advice could work better in one case, better in another case. And remember that the world is liquid in the sense that nowadays in this mass of information, all is ephemeral, all is passing, all is changing at a speed that sometimes is kind of incredible. So don't worry to mistake. Test and try which kinds of publications, which kinds of messages are better working for you or not, depending on your community. And why? The answer of the why are your goals. In your case, I guess that are related with peace and justice, of course, but at the end, with these goals, you could be known, reachable, and in the case of institution, to be reachable is also to be transparent. If I think of a religious order, of a peace and justice institution, I would like to know who can I talk with. I would like to have a contact. To be transparent is also to be trusted, and trust in the world of fake news is very, very important. And again, aligned with your values, coherent with what you are. And then the who. And the who is the big question. Why? Because all that questions we have been quickly answering previously are really, really linked to the who. All these kind of advices could be measured and adapted depending on the people you want to reach. Talking with Patricia before this session, we talk about offering some best practice, some overviews on how young people is performing in social media, and especially related to social issues and related to religion, especially to religion, because here in Blanquerna, in the university I work, we did some research last year in occasion of the synod about youth in Rome, and we studied their behavior online. So now I'm gonna show you some results about this study, and then some best practices related to them and related to what I have been explaining previously. The overview of the research is that we studied youth at 3 levels in Barcelona, the city where we are based, in Catalonia, our region, and in the world. In the world, we did it through an algorithm in which we could access data of plenty, a big number of people, of young people who are in Facebook and Instagram specifically. You can see here in the slide that we reached almost 504,000 million of Facebook and Instagram accounts. And I know it seems massive, but thanks to this big data algorithm, we did it. And we wanted to know, and we wanted to show these results to bishops in the Synod for Youth last year, to know which are their interests, is if religion and social issues were among their interests, and then who they were following, who were the influencers. Among this big amount of young people, we found that in social media, the 4% of these people we studied, aged between 18 and 25 years old, were interested in religion, specifically in Catholic themes. It is translated, this percentage, to 21 million people. Then we had some more data here that I think that if you have the presentation, you could be interested also in reading it. For example, we found the 20 countries with the most young people involved in social media, the 20 countries with the most young people involved in religion, headed by Brazil, the second one is Philippines, the third India, etc. And also the 20 countries with the biggest percentage of young people interested in religion. We show this data also to bishops as a big opportunity to make them aware of where they could go to find young people, to find this target that seems nowadays really difficult to reach. And among their interests, we discovered that the first one is entertainment, video games, media, TV series, music, then to buy brands and interests, and to have fun. But then we also looked at the interest of these 4% of people who was interested in religion. In this case, we also found that these people interested in religion is or used to be committed with social and cultural interests and engaged with several social causes. Then here quickly, some results in Barcelona showed us more specific and concrete data about the technological habits of these young people. For example, we found that the 93% of them are connected daily, that the 55% of them are connected without the control of their parents, etc. You will have this data. And then, filtering by the platform where they are, we found that the majority of them are in Instagram, then YouTube, then Facebook, and the last platform in terms of interest from young people was Twitter. I have to say that there are so many new platforms that when we did this study last year were not still available. We'll talk about them, but just a big overview to give you some clues of what they are looking for, because as you know, Instagram is not the same than Twitter. Instagram is based on images, and Twitter is more based on information. We had also some percentages of if they were believers or not, if they were using the digital platform and social media for religion. And then we had some answers that also let us know this public. They say that they were not using religion and they were not watching religion. And this is very interesting in our case, because we concluded that we are in front of a generation of users and we are in front of a generation of watchers. And here, also as Father Amado said, image is very important. Then here some names of the main influencers they were following here generally, but also in the field of religion. Pope Francis was the first one, but you can see here a lot of different many names. And in the general ones, we found names that are also always related to a social case, a social cause. So we also found here kind of sensitivity to society, sensitivity to social issues. You will have also these names. And then we also found some names of people who they are following that we didn't know who they are. They were completely unknown for us, and they are the real influencers that are telling our young people what to wear, what to eat, what to believe, what to read, whatever. So we decided to watch the videos of these influencers and to try to know which message and which language are they using. Because if we want to reach young people, we should maybe use the language that this kind of influencers are using. And then we found that these influencers are not famous, generally are not celebrities, are people like us, that they have a promise of improving something, improving the way people is cooking, improving the way people is wearing, whatever. That call for empathy for empathy from other people. They used to have stories that touch the feelings of their watchers. And here I would like to insist of the importance of storytelling, the importance to tell a story, to call for people attention. And also that they are also part of the brand that a young individual is building in their social media. So if I would like to be recognized in social media, maybe I follow an institution that works for social justice, even if I'm not involved in social justice issue, but people may think that I am. So I would be recognized of being really engaged and really concerned about peace and justice. So this is also something about the reputation, something about the own image and the image that people want to show to the others. And then their language. We found that the language these influencers are using is fast, is ephemeral, is really emotive, using a lot of images, a lot of emojis, a lot of visible things. So it's very visible, and sometimes it's hyperbolic, exaggerated, using sometimes funny things, and also sometimes game. So the three main elements we found: emotions, images, and stories. Be emotive through images and also through human interest stories. These three main elements were the essence of these influencers' messages. And then we found some best practices that in the field of social justice or religion, etc., are implementing these three main elements, this language of influencers to reach easier young people, to get their message better listened by young people. And in this sense, I would like you to also present this kind of new platform. It's called TikTok. TikTok is a new social media platform, very similar to Instagram, in which young people publish videos, selfie videos that they record for themselves, that they can edit really quickly, they can post it, and they can add filters, messages, campaigns, whatever. So it is really easy for them to, at the end, have a live video. This is very attractive for them because it's very real, it's very immediate, and it's really quick and fast. So it has all the characteristics we detect they are interested on. In the world of YouTube, in Spain.
Hear me? You still have 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah. It'll be really quick. Okay, so Ramia's channel in YouTube, a very well-known YouTuber from the Muslim world, talking about best practices. Also, I don't know if you know this profile, especially those who speak in Spanish, the profile in Twitter from Sister Chisquia Valladares. She's very well known for involving people and engaging people through her social media. This is Tommy Tyke. I would like also you to visit his profile. Tommy Tyke is called the Catholic Hipster and is using social media also for spread the message and for involve people. And in that sense, for example, this is a tweet from yesterday, Ash Wednesday. He published this video gift making fun and saying Catholics who don't usually attend Mass, when they hear it's Ash Wednesday, and they're running to Mass. No? So something that has this tone, more funny, more gamified. Maybe you know the initiative, even the Pope is adapting to this young vocabulary, and the Pope is publishing monthly the Pope video, some minutes of a short message from the Pope regarding the climate, regarding whatever values, regarding a piece of the Bible, whatever. So adapting also the Pope to this format. Here we have some other that you can also look for. Jesuits profile in Instagram is also very interesting for the kind of graphical publication they are using. And then here I would like to to end my presentation sharing with you this best practice that is carried out by the Order Sagrados Corazones, Sacred Hearts in Madrid. They have several schools, and in his Instagram account, they have decided to organize weekly a quiz challenge through Instagram. It's called Quiz Sagrados Corazones Challenge, and they have 5 questions each week, questions like the one you can see here. Which is the Bible character more aligned or more similar with Moby Dick, for example? So they have achieved 11,000 participants in these quizzes, which in terms of Spain, the metrics followed here in Spain, is a very high number. Also, I really recommend you to read and to tell these stories through Twitter threads. Twitter threads are really useful and are really adapted to this storytelling model that we need to be aware. And this is a campaign that we promote here from Blanquerna, from the Blanquerna Observatory on Media, Religion and Culture, a campaign in social media based again on images, on videos, and on stories, and has the main goal to battle Islamophobia that we have in the city since we had a terrorist attack 2 years ago. And this is a very good initiative from our students. So going against this Islamophobia. And a short list of tools that would be easy for you also to use. Tools for participating in the conversation. Hashtags, remember to put hashtags in your publication to be found, to tag your location, use images, videos, GIFs, and stories again. Remember that you have tools to make these publications automatic. Before, some people said, okay, we need a lot of hands, we need a lot of people to make our social media effective. Yes, but we have also free tools that can make our work easier and sometimes quicker. And then, of course, test and track and monitor your work. Metricool, for example, is a very useful and free tool to track your paths, your social media paths, and to decide if you are going to the right way or not. And this is what we could share with you in these minutes from the Blanquerna Observatory on Media, Religion and Culture. We are a research center here in Ramon Llull University, dedicated especially on how media is covering the religious phenomena. And thank you very much, and open to your questions.
Thank you very much, Alba. You spoke so fast. I don't know if because you are young, you know, but it was difficult for me to follow. I hope that our translator, yeah, she's looking, you know, she's like.
Oh, sorry for that.
Thank you very much, because it was very helpful completing the Father Amado presentation. And thank you also to inviting us to be stalker of others' profiles. I love it, that. So, but we can learn from others, and there are very good practices. Most of you send us some, but also the ones that Alba shared with us. The Pope Francis profiles are very good, not because of the Pope, but because we know that there are a lot of people behind working on that, and thinking and deciding each word, because it's very, very delicate. So thank you very much. I was following, I don't know if you can stop sharing the screen, Alba.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't realize I was still sharing.
Now I would like to invite people to have 2 minutes of silence, where we can ask our translator to rest a bit, and I invite Alba to read the comments and the questions on the English side, on the English room, and we will do the same. We will try to answer some of them. We cannot answer to all, because then we have other 10 minutes, no more. Okay? Thank you. We are going to start again. I'm sorry to push you, but we have also other thing to do before we close this second meeting. I was reading the comments and I want just to underline that this course doesn't have a technical goal. We cannot go too much in depth on how to make things technically. The goal, as we said last meeting, is to give an overview of the reality. Then, if you are interested in that, we might be able to offer you specific webinar on specific issues. So I feel that it's important to clarify that. We cannot be too much technical, because perhaps most of you, the level of knowledge between you are very different, okay? So, I mean, I know I'm aware of the limit of a course like this one, okay? So now I would like to give the floor again to Father Amado and to Alba, but I have to be very strict with time. You have just 5 minutes per each. And the questions that I want to highlight is about privacy. How we can control privacy. What is in our hands and what is not in our hands. Second, how to create empathy. How we can write a post that is real effective. In terms of content, I'm not talking about technical elements. Am I clear? So I would like to leave the floor first to Father Amado if he wants to comment something. 5 minutes, no more. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, first about privacy. The danger of social media, especially Facebook, is that the boundaries, that's why it's important that each one of us must establish our own boundaries. Even there is a feature in Facebook about when you share, to whom should it go? There's one that is public, or one is only for friends. Some there's friends of friends. So if there is a message that is meant for all, then the public, But if it's just for friends, okay. There is also what is called the Facebook group, and it's important that in a Facebook group, you only add, for example, your circle of either collaborators, so that it will be among yourselves. So the message, whatever is posted, will just go through them and not will be seen by others, especially if it involves a lot of conversation and exchange. That's why the Facebook group, a Facebook group can either be exclusive, secret, or it can be open. Anyone can join, but it will need your approval. So I think it's important. The Facebook group is the most important. It's an important one. Another is also that what I was saying about separate Facebook accounts. There can be a Facebook account just for close relatives and friends. Another for JPIC promoters. Okay. And the number 2 question is the empathy. I said that there are 3 things you need to share. First is about what you see, how you make people aware. Second is your analysis and reflection. And third is the call to action. It is most important that what you share is what you personally witness. You're trying to tell the story and you let the victims, you become either the voice or of the voiceless. That's why it's important. You're not just sharing something that you saw or heard. You can do that. But one is something that you're personally involved in. There are people, you meet victims, you know that you're engaged with them. It's important also to have a lot of pictures because images are very important. Images will tell the story at the same time that you have to explain what these images are. Videos, if you post them, make sure that, it's better to post what you took whether pictures or videos, even short ones. But it is all personally related to you. Of course, there are limitations because there are some that are made by others. You can share that also, no problem with that. But what's important is that it's not just something that is very technical or well done, but even if it's not, it's badly done. The pictures are not there or the videos. What is important is that it really tells the story of what is happening, how you look at it, your judgment, and what you are doing and what others are doing. So this is something that is very, very important, something you are passionate about.
Thank you, Father. And I want to underline one element that is very important, that we have to mix the content of our profile. We can share something and support others' campaign, but we have also to create our own content. We have to offer different kind of posts. We will see that also later. Okay, Alba, you ready?
Yeah.
5 minutes, huh?
Yeah, no more.
Don't speak so fast.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Our average age is a little bit older than yours, so, we cannot follow you, okay?
Sorry for that. Sorry for the speed. Yeah, thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everything, everywhere. And here I read a lot of different questions, but I would like to focus on these 3 concepts you talk about: privacy, empathy, and effectivity of a post. About privacy, I would like to highlight that when we publish something, in that moment we lose the control of this something. Of course, these platforms tell us that we have our privacy rights covered, that whatever, that we have tools to protect it, tools to report when a bad situation happens. But the first thing is to be aware that when you publish something, it becomes public. And in social media, when it's public, it's global and can be at the other part of the world in 2 seconds. So I think the previous step before publishing of, okay, what I'm publishing, is it rigorous? Is it correct? Does it hurt some other people, some other institutions' reputation, feelings, whatever? So I think the step of being aware of that is previous to publishing, because when it's published, then it's there. And there it can be remembered, and it can be shared by everyone. So this is not, I don't want to launch here a very negative message, but only a message of awareness. Because sometimes some mistakes that we found is because of this lack of awareness. Oh, I think I was publishing this and only my friends could see it. Yes, but your friends could share it. And they have other friends, another, and this is a multiplier effect. Then about empathy. I would like to insist on stories and to be aligned with the importance of the image, and not only the image for the image, because in an image we can see a face, we can see a place, we can call the empathy of the audience through stories, through telling them something with which they could be identified, further than concepts. Okay, the concept of justice, great, but do we have a face that represents this concept? At the end, the empathy is to look at the face of the other, and this is the most essential empathic thing. And I think that this could be really aligned and related with the effectivity of a post, and the effectivity, further than technical things, would be also linked, I think, to trust. Everything that reinforces your trust, reinforces your credibility, is effective. In what sense? if you use a rigorous source of information. When you share information, if the place that have created this information is rigorous, is trusted, then you will have part of this trust. If you share fake news, of course, you lose this trust. And as in a real conversation, as in an offline conversation, as we talked before, trust is essential. If we don't trust the other, we won't have a fluid dialogue. So to be effective, we should include in a post elements that I think promote our trust. Data from rigorous sources, witnesses, human interest, details and stories, and of course, always respect the rights of the privacy rights, the copyright rights. Be careful with the pictures that are from a website that we don't have clear if the precedence of it. So things that make your communication rigorous and trusted.
Thank you very much, Alba, for being in the right time. And Father Amado and Alba, you really deserve a digital applause. So thank you very much for sharing your experience. Thank you. I just want, yeah, I think that Father Amado was really struck by the proposal of Sister Beth to a group of this course, and I totally agree. I think it's a very good idea. Don't ask us to do it. I think it's a good idea that you start something like that. So this is how the network works. It's not from up, but it's from the grassroots comes up the need, and you can plan to do it. We can talk more during the course. Is that okay with you? We can talk how to do it and to do it in the right way, okay? Before how many energy do you still have? Are you tired? A little bit, okay. But now we can do something different. I want just to close, let's say, but it's not the closure. It's just to stop now the theme about social media and say two things. We cannot be on the social media as we were in my dining room. In my dining room, I'm with my husband, with my friend, and I can share everything because there is the intimacy. In the social media, the level of intimacy is completely different. So once you put something there, you cannot control anymore. Second, the risk is to use the social media that are based on conversation and dialogue as it was our website. It's not a place to show how much I good or all myself or my institution. Is a place where I dialogue with others. I meet others. I listen to others. Perhaps I do not speak a lot. I don't know if it's clear, this shift from homily to conversation, we say, you know? Not clear. What's not clear? Can you explain more in the chat? Thank you. Well, now we move towards the task for next time, before the tips and the good practices. For the next time, that will be March 12, we will talk about the ICT for development. So how information and communication technology can be a source for development in poor countries. So we will have an organization. No meeting for March 5th. there will be another meeting. Perhaps Sheila can tell us something later. But the next meeting will be March 12, as you can see from the calendar. And we will talk about ICT for development, and then we will have a reflection on ethical aspect of the digital culture. But the task is this one. I invite you to choose one of your social media profile. I suggest you Facebook, but it's up to you. Choose one social media. Second, analyze your last 5 or 6 posts and try to highlight which is the message that I'm giving to the readers, to my friends. Which kind of digital identity comes up from this post? And analyze if there is a variety. Sorry, my English is always poor. Next time I will speak Spanish. So check if there is a variety within the 5 posts or if they are all the same. I repeat. Choose a profile, a social profile. Thank you, Daniela. Second, analyze your last 5 posts. Which message comes up? Which digital identity comes up? And analyze the variety if there is one. Okay? Now it's time for the good practices. Now, before I want to give you the tips, because it's related with the social media. Here we are. This is my tips for today. This is a very simple and basic tool. It's a monthly planning for monthly or weekly planning or social media. Don't worry about the task. I will write to you by email, so don't worry if it's not clear. So this is a very simple schema that I use, for instance, if Therese, sorry, there is not a lot of communication. It's difficult, we are far. This is a very simple schema. As you can see in the first column, you have the date. It depends on your activity. It might be weekly or daily. And then there I put the social media. Oh, sorry, I didn't put well. Okay. So why this is important? Because I can plan my post. If I'm not in a place where I can do it, I can plan it. But it's also a way for me to see how I can adapt the same content in the different social media. I cannot put the same content in all of them because each social media is like a specific space with specific language. Am I clear? So you can see how you have to change, adapt the post. For instance, you can put something on Facebook, on Twitter, and then you can also see along the week which kind of content you publish on the same profile. So for instance, if you decide on Facebook to have just photos, it's not good. You can have a photo one day, a flag another day, an infographic another day, a reflection article another day, an invitation, a call to action another day. I hope it's clear. It's just a schema. This is my schema, but you can find yours. But it's important to have one. I will send it to you, so do not worry. You can reflect if it's good for you or not. You can find yours. Now, I choose this best practice. Therese, can you take out the pics, por favor? My face, it's not necessary my face. Okay. This is in Spanish. I don't care that you don't understand. It's 11 minutes, so we won't watch all. I will just skip. Observe, watch this video with the eyes of a communicator. And check the quality of the video, the kind of shooting they have chosen, the content for the people who understand the Spanish, and the background, the scene, the objects. It's very interesting. We can talk a lot. So take notes and please share on the chat. Teresa, volume.
Sí, sí. Today is a Thursday. I would like to insist. We would like to have many vocations to the Carmelites. We have marvelous provinces all over the world. We have brothers from Latin America. We have the friars from Mexico, from Colombia. Come, young people, to be part of our family, or women who wants to be Carmelites. In every town there is a monastery for Carms. These are people who have fallen in love with Jesus, with Isabel of Trinity, with Teresa of Jesus. I have read a poem of love saying to Christ, I want to give to you my life, to the God of the earth and the heaven.
Se lo explicaba con toda claridad. Entonces Pedro se lo llevó aparte y se puso.
Oh, this is a gospel.
Se volvió y de cara a los discípulos increpó a Pedro. Quítate de mí, Satanás. Tú piensas como los hombres, no como Dios. Palabra del Señor.
Oh Santo Espíritu, eres tú quien une mi alma a Dios. Muévela con fervientes deseos y enciende. Guarda mi lengua de toda de este día que nace, vengo a pedirte.
Se puso a increparlo. Entonces, aquí la pregunta es, ¿quién es Jesús para ti?
The question is, who is Jesus for you? Jesus is the faithful friend, the friend you love as Peter, trying to protect him, to love him, to say to him how much I love you. For them it was a prophet, for some of them in Israel, for others he was Elias. But for you, who is Jesus for you? So I see here this tender love.
Thank you, Daniela, for translating the English. Thank you very much. Do you have comments? There are a lot of things we can say. Okay, by the way, I don't want to offend or judge nobody. We are just using these tools to reflect. All of them are very good practices. So please, I don't want to offend or judge nobody. We are just using to reflect. Am I clear? I don't want to feel, okay? I'm waiting for your comments. Yeah, good. Some critics. Un poco aburrido, interessante.
Interesting, but a little bit tedious.
First comment that I would do, that this is a very good video for a particular culture. It wouldn't work in Italy. The tone, the kind of invitation, it's very related with the specific culture. And did you see the scene background? Many holy images. In some countries, you cannot do that. In some group belong in the same culture, you cannot do that. So it doesn't exist a video for everybody, unless it's really well done. But it's another level. Do you have some other comments? I'm reading yours. It's a long time, yes, but this is a vocational video. It's not a spot. So yes, I might agree with you. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, the comments that you are writing. I'm sorry that you can read just the comments of your language, but they are very different because because of the difference of the culture we belong, the experience we belong. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think it's time to close. I will read all your comments. The ideal would be to translate for the other room, but I don't know if we have time to do it, but it's very interesting. We will try to recuperate. Okay, we will send you the PowerPoint. Alba, can you send me your PowerPoint? And another question for you was people are interested in receiving the survey on youth. So if you can send it to us or now in the chat or to me, and I can send it to all. Is that okay with you?
Of course, perfect. Yeah, I can send the complete presentation and then the complete report, which is linked in the website of aletheia.org. Is the company we worked with, the Catholic network we worked with to do that. So yeah, in some minutes you'll have it.
Thank you. Thank you again, Alba. Thank you again, Father Amado. Thank you to Daniela, our translator. And thank you to Sister Therese, for being in the Regia. Sheila, do you want to say something about March the 5th? Or you can speak from there.
On March the 5th, we are having a meeting of those who participated in the last JPIC formation program. And it's an international experience because we had the promoters here, about 40 of them here during the week, and a number of people that were online. And so we're asking them, what have they been able to do in the last 3 months, given the experience that they had? So again, those of you that are on this webinar for JPIC promotion, JPIC in terms of digital communication, please consider the formation workshop for JPIC promoters. Again, because we like to keep in relationship with you and because it's important to make this world a better place. but we're very fortunate to have Patrizia here moving us forward with all these ideas for communication. And then Father Armando, who just came to the office in two months ago, moving us forward as well. So thank you very much, both of you, and also to our friend from Barcelona for helping us out. Thank you.
Thank you. See you in March. Bye-bye.